Some, the muse of inspiration is a constant companion. It sits by them, guiding their pen or steering their fingers over the keyboard. But mine visited me only once, back in 1989. I was alone at the time in a house on Ma Wan Island in Hong Kong, the only non-Chinese in a little Chinese fishing village. And I'd had this idea for some time. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write about the last Nazi war criminal. I didn't know what kind of book it would turn out to be, but suddenly I knew. I sat at the keyboard. In those days we didn't have computers as we know them today. I had a typewriter with a storage capacity for documents that I could retrieve, and I started writing. I couldn't stop. It was as if I was taking dictation, perhaps from my own personal muse. I just went on writing and writing and writing. And I realized I was dying by degrees because it was taking so much out of me. I wasn't eating properly, I certainly wasn't sleeping properly, but I had to get it down. I had to get it on paper while the ideas were still flowing, and they didn't stop flowing. It just went on and on. It was as if the man I was writing about had taken control, as if he'd been a real person, and he'd found somebody to record his life. So it went on for 10 days, at the end of which I realized I'd written myself out. I'd written the book. It was all there, and I could stop and breathe again. There was obviously room for going back over it and correcting, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but it was essentially all there. I had tried submitting many manuscripts before that, without success, but this time it all clicked. The agent I sent it to wanted it immediately. The publishers they sent it to also wanted it. One held on to it for a long time and reluctantly let it go because it wasn't quite what they wanted. But the next one, Bloomsbury, where Liz Calder, who'd discovered Salman Rushdie and other writers, had just set up business, they wanted it straight away, and they wrote me and said how much they wanted it. And it was so exciting that finally I'd made the breakthrough. So, about 18 months later, the book made its appearance. The New York Times greeted it as a little gem. There were other glowing reviews. And I thought I had it made. I thought I'd embarked on a new career, the one I'd always wanted, to be a successful writer. I made the fatal mistake of thinking that I could switch my style. I could write a dramatic, tragic book like The Singing Tree, and then go on to write something of a totally different genre. The next book was a satirical work, tongue-in-cheek, followed by another one which was nostalgic, based partly on my own memories of a childhood in India. And I kept switching locations, styles, genres, and none of them worked. It took me a long time to realize that what the publishers wanted was more of the same. They wanted to sell somebody who had an established style that readers would like and expect more of. And I wasn't giving them that. I was giving them something different every time. And that was my fatal mistake. So, as I say, in my case, the Muse visited me once. It was a wonderful moment, but moments don't last forever.